Hello, and welcome back once again to Infinite Jeff, the project where I, the man known as Jeff, read the book Infinite Jest, one page at a time, one day at a time. I read it, I put it on YouTube. It's pretty sweet. It's a book by David Foster Wallace, a postmodern masterpiece. And it's pretty good. I read it one page at a time, one day at a time. Put it up on YouTube. But this is page number 467. Let's go. Higher power when he was driving. Down near EWD's barge docks off the Alston Spur, one night he invited Gately to think of Boston AA as a box of Betty Crocker cake mix. Gately had smacked himself in the forehead at yet another limp, oblique Gene M. analogy, which Gene had already bludgeoned him with several insectile tropes for thinking about the disease. The counselor had let him vent spleen for a while, smoking as he crawled along behind land barges lined up to unload. He told Gately to just imagine for a second that he's holding a box of Betty Crocker cake mix, which represented Boston AA. The boss came with directions on the side any 8-year-old could read. Gately said he was waiting for the mention of some kind of damned insect inside the cake mix. Gene M. said all Gately had to do was, for fuck's sake, give him a break and relax, and for once shut up and just follow the directions on the side of the fucking box. It didn't matter one fuckola whether Gately believed a cake would result, or whether he understood the fucking baking chemistry of how a cake would result. If he just followed the motherfucking directions and had sense enough to get help from slightly more experienced bakers to keep from fucking the directions up if he got confused somehow. But basically the point was if he just followed the childish directions, a cake would result. He'd have his cake. The only thing Gately knew about cake was that the frosting was the best part, and he personally found Eugenio Martinez a smug and self-righteous prick. Plus, he'd always distrusted both Orientals and Spics. Sorry. Don't like reading that shit. And Gene M. managed to seem like both. But he didn't screw out of the house or quite do anything they could discharge him for. And he went to meetings nightly and told more or less truth. And he did the shoe under the bed knee thing every AM/PM 24/7. Then he took the suggestion to join a group and get rabidly active and clean up ashtrays and go out speaking on commitments. He had nothing in the way of a God concept, and at that point maybe even less than nothing in terms of interest in the whole thing. He treated prayer like setting an oven temp according to a box's directions. Thinking of it as talking to the ceiling was somehow preferable to imagining talking to nothing. And he found it embarrassing to get down on his knees in his underwear, and like the other guys in the room, he always pretended his sneakers were way under the bed, and he had to stay down there a while to find them and get them out when he prayed. But he did it, and beseeched the ceiling, and thanked the ceiling, and maybe after 5 months, Gately was riding the Greenie at 4:30 to go clean human turds out of the Shattuck shower, and all of a sudden realized that quite a few days had gone by since he'd even thought about Demerol, or Talwin, or even weed. Not just merely getting through those last days, substances hadn't even occurred to him, i.e. the desire and compulsion had been removed. More weeks went by, a blur of commitments and meetings and Gasper smoke and cliches, and he still didn't feel anything like his old need to get high. He was, in a way, done with page 467. So, tune in next time for the thrilling conclusion / not the conclusion, because we're not even halfway through this book, so. Alrighty, have a great night.